or like the bell curve, or like all the race memes. Like the reason that people don't believe this isn't because it's controversial. It's just because like it's not well founded, right? Like flat Earth is a very controversial opinion, right?
I don't think that the differences in racial IQs is on the same level as the flat
Of
Earth
course you don't.
or
Got 'em, boys.
hello.
Hello.
Check.
There we go. All right. So like I said, did you have something in mind? Did you have like a topic you just want to go into? Like, is iDub a simp? What does that mean? Is that bad? Or you want me to like give you some questions about your video? What would you prefer?
Okay. Two things. First of all, are you live right now?
No. So unfortunately, I don't stream. I don't. My internet's not good, so I can't stream. So, but I am recording. If that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, totally. And the other thing is, I guess I just thought we were going to go over what your contention was in the comment primarily.
Sure.
I'm happy to go into like some other stuff a little bit, but I wasn't going to spend a lot of time.
Oh no,
doing
that's
this,
perfectly fine. So we can look at my comment. So fuck, what was the first comment I said? Okay, so I was trying to point out that like him, not only him like playing with anal beads, but also him I don't know, like saying gamer words or like doing all the dipshit like dumb shit that he's been doing on his channel for years. I would say that that is more embarrassing. I would say that that's more like, I don't know what words you would use, culturally or morally degeneratory or whatever. Like I would argue that that is worse than putting, I don't know, like scandalous Instagram photos on OnlyFans, right?
Okay, so sure. So first of all, is it? I need to know: is it worse than like actually shoving anal beads in your ass? I guess that
Yeah,
would
but
be the
that's, I
first
mean,
thing
he
we
was
have
being
to.
hyperbolic. No, but he actually played with anal beads. Like, I'm talking about realistically. I mean, I guess it would be equally as bad if he also metaphorically or hypothetically put anal beads on his
Wait.
ass.
Realistically, do you not think that realistically people doing porn aren't sticking things in their ass?
But are we talking about all porn, or are we talking about this scenario here?
Right now, we're talking about all porn. We're
Okay,
talking about like the
sure.
literal act of sticking anal beads in your ass
So,
for money,
okay. So what if it's not for money? What if I'm just like an expert,
right? So I
exhibitionist
think
or
I
whatever?
think
What if it's not monetized? Then is that not
yeah,
porn?
same. It's the That's
Okay,
the same.
okay,
But I think,
sure.
by the way, I think the word that you were looking for is undignified, or like a cost
Undignified?
to your dignity. Yeah.
Okay.
So uh, we agree that playing with anal beads in a stupid YouTube video like iDubbbz did is not as undignified as sticking them up your ass on
Um,
video.
I don't think I was just trying to make like a hypothetical that you were like an analogy that you would understand. I don't actually think no, personally I don't think like porn or sticking things up your ass is necessarily degeneratory. I can think it's weird. I can not like it. I can find it disgusting, but I don't think that I should morally judge or like dignify you because ultimately it has no bearing on my day-to-day life. I personally preach a philosophy or like a way of living of you do you, I'm gonna do me. I don't personally care what you do. Like I don't care if iDubbbz's girlfriend posts pictures because I it doesn't affect me. I'm not gonna see these pictures. I don't really care to see these pictures, and that's about it. Like that's where it ends for me. So
You're so okay. First of
sure,
all, it is degenerate, and we can come back to that if we have time.
sure.
But that's not the word I used. I used
Yeah, and I
undignified,
said I don't. Did I
and
say degenerate? I'm pretty sure I said
yeah,
undignified as well.
well, you did. That's okay.
Okay.
Do
Well,
you
sure.
do you think that it is uh like this? I'll ask you the same question that I would ask iDubbbz. Like, would your preference be for your significant other to do that or to not do
Personally,
that?
oh yeah, no. Personally speaking, no. My preference would be for not to do that. Well, actually, scandalous Instagram photos, I probably wouldn't care actually. But if it was anything more than that, yeah, I wouldn't want her posting nudes on like OnlyFans. But that's personally me, and I think it's really weird that in your video you like were very, very, very certain about how your iDubbbz's girl or iDubbbz had like a secret problem with that his girlfriend was doing this because I couldn't tell this. I don't know iDubbbz. Like it seemed really weird that you seemed like you knew what iDubbbz wanted more than he did.
Well, it's like I said, it's telling in the fact that you have to keep hammering on the like semi nudes thing because you know that the more undignified the behavior is, the worse it is. So you try to sort of soften the blow by saying over and over that it's just semi nudes.
Well, no, I don't think like I said,
You're doing the same thing. You're doing the exact same thing that he was doing. Like you're
sure.
betraying your true beliefs by
Yeah,
acknowledging
sure, right. I saw that
there's
part
a
of the video
sliding
too.
scale.
Yeah, so sure, I
Right?
saw
Yeah,
that
yeah.
part of the
So you
video
get
too. I
what I'm
thought that was
saying.
pretty dumb as well. So what I'm trying to say, right? So sure, buddy. So what I'm trying to say is that I personally, me, I wouldn't want nude pictures of my girlfriend, but maybe iDubbbz is okay with it. That was just a point because it seems like a lot of people were like, "Wee, oh my god, she's sticking anal beads up her ass." Like when I first heard about this before I even saw the iDubbbz video, I was like, "Oh my god, his girlfriend's doing porn? What? That's pretty out there." No, because the outrage was a little like out there. I would probably say that's why he brought that point up. But his iDubbbz' girlfriend decided to do porn and he was okay with it, I wouldn't care because I have no stake in this. It doesn't matter to me, right?
Well, I mean, you care a lot because you're here
Well, no,
arguing
I
with me
care.
very passionately.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
you care.
yes, no.
You care a
No,
lot, dude.
you know what I care about? I care about people making dumb arguments or people sensationalizing dumb things. So I'm arguing against
Okay,
you
so
because you're sensationalizing this really dumb thing that shouldn't matter.
no, but what part of my argument is dumb? Because the only thing you're saying is that I shouldn't care. That's not the same thing as saying I made a dumb
Well,
argument.
no. Okay, so sure. This is like I thought we just wanted to go into my YouTube comment, but sure, yeah, we can go into this too. So, why do you think?
Well, okay, hold on.
So why do you think
Let's
this is?
finish
Oh,
your
sure.
YouTube comment first, because your YouTube comment is dumb.
Okay.
You've already acknowledged that sticking anal beads up your ass is worse than twirling them around in an unboxing video, right? So you get that part. You get
Well,
that
hold on.
those
Actually,
things.
it depends. Is your face in the video with the anal beads? Because that's actually, yeah, I would say that that is a factor as well. Is it? I mean, is it not? Like,
no, well, whatever. Assume we know your
okay,
identity because you're
maybe
selling the
with
anal.
current,
You're selling
yes,
it on
with
your
the current
OnlyFans,
social
right?
stigma, yes, it would be
Hypothetical.
worse for that to have been leaked than I guess iDubbbz. Yeah, probably.
Okay, so it is then weird for him to be like to act like you should treat those the way that I should judge. Like iDubbbz's argument is essentially that I should judge him the same way that I would judge somebody who was hypothetically sticking them up their ass to make
Right,
pornography,
but okay,
right?
so
But they're not the same. So we've cleared out your comment now, right? We
sure,
agree that your
sure.
comment was dumb, and we can move on.
No, because my comment was in the context of what was actually happening. Like, sure, if you hypothetically say that hypothetically, if his girlfriend, but there is no hypothetical in this situation because iDubbbz actually did play with the anal beads, and then we actually have a serious thing that actually did happen. Her posting semi-scandalous pictures on OnlyFans. These things are what I'm comparing. So you can say, well, they're not comparable if she did something else. Well, yeah, but with what she did and with what iDubbbz did in the past, they are kind of comparable, no?
No.
Okay, then let's argue about that
definitely.
then. Why did you have to bring up like the hypothetical shit? Holy shit. Okay, then let's talk about that then. Why do you think that those are not
Whoa, hold on.
comparable?
You seem confused because
Sure.
the hypothetical was in the context of what he was saying. It was understood from his position that he would treat those the same way. That he would say
I
that being
think
a
that he
porn
was
star who
making a
sticks
joke.
anal
Do you
beads
think
up
that
your ass.
iDubbbz, the very
he's-
serious person, was being completely serious? Like with the double
Yeah,
penetration? Do you think he was being
his
serious
video
with
is
that?
very serious. His
Well, do you
his
think-
video
do
was
you think,
very
like, the
seriously
double- do you
saying
think,
that
like,
there's
the double
nothing wrong with
penetration
any
the
of
fucking
this.
hot dogs? Do you think that was serious, or do you think that was kind of like hyperbolic?
Didn't you like 5 minutes ago? Weren't you accusing me of claiming that I know what he's saying, and now you're claiming that you
no.
know what he's thinking? That
I
he's
don't
not being
know.
serious
Sure, yeah,
when he
I
says that
don't-
he's
I
okay
don't
with double
absolutely
penetration
know,
on
but when he's-
OnlyFans. Is he okay with double penetrations on OnlyFans, or isn't he? I'm
Well,
just taking
you,
the guy at
dog,
his
you're
word,
doing
man.
the same exact thing as I'm doing then, except I'm admitting that I don't know. You're saying that like, oh no, he's definitely, yeah, he definitely.
No, because I
is
do
okay
know.
with it.
I
How
do
you
know.
Well, then what do I know? What does the president know? Can you tell me? Are you a fucking psychic? What the fuck are you saying? How do you know what someone knows?
This I know.
How? How do you know he's okay with like if his girlfriend posted double penetration porn?
How do I? He wouldn't be okay with it. I promise you, he
Then-
wouldn't be okay with it.
Oh right. Oh, Jesus
No matter what
Christ.
he said.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what's the next point, man? I don't have a lot of time for this.
Okay, so what I wanted to
have,
get
like,
into really,
an
like, this is
actual
typically-
question or
sure,
anything?
yeah, sure. So like why do you think that? I don't know this. I mean, I would like to stand in like this certain case, but if you just want to go to porn in general, why do you think that it's morally degeneratory or undignified or whatever word you used, or whatever you
This
think
is
it
a
is?
really complicated topic. Like it's a philosophy
Sure.
question, essentially. So I don't have time to go into great detail,
Okay.
but I believe that there is a set of behaviors that lead you towards a good life, like a happy, fulfilling life. And there's a set of behaviors that lead you away from that. And that's like my axiom for determining morality. So anything that leads you to the good life is moral, and anything that leads you away from it is immoral. And you also have a sort of a moral duty to treat others the same way, to do things towards them that would lead them towards the good life and not away from it. Watching pornography leads you away from the good life.
Okay.
And that's why it's
Sure. So,
immoral.
and I know you don't want to get too into it because then you don't have enough time. And maybe one day we can get into this actual discussion, like in depth if you want. But and I think that's actually one of the better answers I've had because a lot of people just be like, that's gross. Um, but yeah, I agree with like the I guess the base structure of what you said, but I don't necessarily think that like things like pornography or whatnot would strive away from a successful or fulfilling life. But like I said, if you don't really want to get into that, then we don't have to.
Yeah. So again, it's a very that you could argue about that for
Yeah,
hours and hours, and it's not something you can really prove. But and that I there is like any moral system you have, there's always going to be room for like endless
yeah, of course.
sophistry, which is why the conversations are kind of boring because people come up with their rules and then they do massive mental gymnastics to get the rules to conform to their biases or whatever. So I know what you're saying, but uh, the pornography industry that we have in the real world is like basically evil. You know what I mean? Like the question of whether or not you could hypothetically have porn that isn't totally morally bankrupt is something that is debatable to me, but to look at what happens in the real
So that's
world
why I
right
said if
now
it's
and
not
to act like it's a gray area is not
right.
something
So that's why I
that I
asked earlier is if you thought like non-monetized porn, or I think it's called, or some people would call it expositionist or something. But if you considered that like bad, because if that's someone coming from their own decision that's saying like, what, I want to post this, not for money, not because there's any monetary benefit, but just because I want to. I want to show my body off. Like, is that bad?
it's bad, but it's less bad than doing it for money.
Okay, okay. And then one more time, how are you certain that iDubbbz is actually secretly not okay with this?
Well, the biggest clue is the thing that I already said about how he had to point out that it was semi nudes, right? As soon as you acknowledge that there's a scale of like degeneracy and that it makes more sense to be angry or grossed out by the more extreme stuff, then you're acknowledging that you see the problem that exists as well. So that's the other people will talk about just like how he looked and how he came
Hmm.
across and stuff like that, which I agree, but I think what he said was telling.
So you don't think that the reason he said that didn't have anything to do with the fact that a lot of people were, I don't know, maybe being hyperbolic or just out and out lying about what was going on, or maybe exaggerating a little bit? Because, like I said, when I
Well, I mean,
first,
I also think that any man who has any kind of I think like you have to be a really broken human being to be okay with your partner like devaluing herself and devaluing her
didn't you
relationship.
debate
And I don't
Destiny?
think I don't think iDubbbz is that far gone. My personal opinion on him is
Okay.
that he's just in love and young and doesn't really know how to doesn't think he can survive getting over the heartbreak or whatever like young people believe.
Didn't you
So
debate Destiny?
that sorry, what?
Didn't you debate Destiny?
Say what?
Destiny, the streamer Destiny.
What
Didn't you debate
what
him?
about him?
You know who I'm talking about, right?
I did
Do you think
I
that
did
he's a
debate
do you
him.
think that he's a what'd you say, a morally bankrupt or broken man?
No, when I say like broken, I mean like seriously mentally ill.
Okay.
I think Destiny is kind of bankrupt, but I don't think he believes a lot of the stuff he says. So
You know he lets his girlfriend, right? I don't know, maybe not let, but he allows his girlfriend to get fucked by other people, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just making sure.
I think
Um,
that some people, they think like the open relationship is like a good deal because they get to fuck other people.
right.
And to me, that just says you don't love the person you're with that
Well, I
much.
mean, can't you like?
If
I
you're
don't
willing
know.
to
And I like
let
me
other dudes
personally.
rail your woman
Right.
just so you can fuck other chicks, you don't
Right.
love your
Well,
woman
like
that.
personally speaking, I don't agree with that, but I wouldn't want an open relationship. But I can understand how some people would be able to separate the emotional and the physical aspect of a relationship. So you would be able to like just have sex with someone and it purely just be sex, and then still have a like meaningful relationship with someone else, as long as both parties
I
agree.
think they convince themselves they can do that.
Well,
I don't
what's the
think
difference
that
though?
it
Like,
in practice goes very well the vast
also,
majority of the time.
do you have any examples or anything like that about how it doesn't go like well most of
What
the time?
of shit in the polyamory community, which is riddled with drama and STDs. I didn't bring,
Maybe. Oh,
data because
maybe.
I didn't
Okay,
know we were
that's
going
fine.
to get onto that.
Sure.
But
Yeah, I should look into the polyamnial community. Also, did you like? Was this just like kind of a meme when you said like 1/3 of the dislikes or of the likes and dislikes or dislikes, and then once that reaches 50-50, there's gonna be the tipping point. Like, was that just pure speculation or?
yeah, it's pure
Oh, okay.
speculation. I don't know if the
Yeah.
culture is actually going to change. I'm
Okay.
generally fairly pessimistic about that kind of thing, to be
Okay.
honest. But
I mean, I don't know. Me
I,
being on
I,
the other
I,
side,
I
I'm
just
probably
wanted to
just
hammer home the point that people just go with the majority. So there is definitely a lot of truth to that. That most people just be conformed to the crowd.
and
Actually,
you said that most people will go with the least controversial opinions. Do you think that that's necessarily a
yeah,
bad thing?
exactly.
Well, I mean, do you think that that's necessarily a bad thing?
I thought, again, that's a philosophical question. Like, is it, do you, I think it's probably not a bad thing in the sense that you don't want your society to be full of leaders. You need some sheep to just get things done.
Do
You
you
know what I
think? Do
mean?
you think?
If too many people with strong opinions just will end to end
Well,
lead
no,
to
no, wait,
endless
whoa, hold
arguing.
on.
So
Controversial opinions aren't strong. Like, I was more like trying to get into the fact that, like Holocaust revisionism is a very controversial opinion. But I wouldn't say that the reason it's controversial is because other people, like, is the reason that other people don't believe it. Like the reason that people don't believe it is because it's dumb, or like the bell curve, or like all the race memes. Like the reason that people don't believe this isn't because it's controversial. It's just because like it's not well founded, right? Like flat Earth is a very controversial opinion, right?
I don't think that the differences in racial IQs is on the same level as the flat
Of
Earth
course you don't.
or
Got him, boys. Thank
yeah.
you.
Oh, you got me.
I
You
don't
got
know
me.
what you're
I
like an
think
open
that
big
the
brained
the
lefty.
guy I think Douglas Murray is smarter than fucking Sean.
I think
One named Sean.
oh
Yeah.
shit. I think all of academia is smarter than like one very sweaty boy, but I don't know. Maybe. Oh,
Okay. I mean, are we gonna debate
I mean,
race realism
I
now?
mean,
Is that what we're doing?
if you want, like, I don't know, all like it basically comes down to this. You think that it's, I guess, genetical, like the warrior gene, or like just like IQ has been differed by climate. I've heard a bunch of different arguments, but my same contention throughout the years has always been that it's throughout developmental history. If we look in recent history, all the resources have kind of been sucked out of certain areas, and certain areas have been deprived of resources like through historical precedent, right?
Resources being so it's now whose mask is slipping? The commie mask
Resources,
is
money,
slipping there,
resources,
buddy.
yeah, like good schooling, good access to, like, these are all resources. I would say. I don't know if that makes me a communist. In fact, I'm actually more so like a omni-liberal, like I like to joke around about. Isn't that right, Shiny? But I don't know. Like
You
it's more
don't
like
you don't
accurate.
sound like you've really done very much research into the IQ things. So my
What?
suggestion to you would be to go to Wikipedia and just read the page on the heritability of IQ. Just start
Sure.
there.
Okay, so I also don't think that IQ is necessarily like that big of a deal in modern day society. I don't think that you need like a relative.
Okay.
Well, do you need a really high IQ to be like do most jobs? Like, you're laughing, but like Do you need a high IQ
Well,
to do
next
job?
next time lead with that because you're gonna have a lot better time defending that than you're gonna have
Okay,
defending that
maybe.
it doesn't come from genetics.
Well, like I don't think necessarily. Okay, maybe it all comes from genetics, but I don't know. Maybe like science would have shown that by now. I don't know.
It
Well, it's
has
not just
for
that
the
it's
for the
genetics, but like
record.
also like
Spoiler
racial.
alert, it
Well,
has.
and do you also not think that IQ can be like differentiated or changed by like different factors? Like, let's say if there's a certain community that has a lot of lead paint or lead in the water, do you think that's going to affect the IQ, or do you think that like people aren't going to
The
like
lead
you
paint.
laugh, but like
The lead paint.
what? Like,
Oh
is the lead
man,
paint
yeah, there are environmental factors. It's not
right? And
100%
do you think that also
heritable.
like not
This is
having as much
understood.
resources in certain areas could like differentiate between like not having to actually be able to use the talents that you were given, or maybe the talents aren't shown as much because you don't have the resources, don't have the education within that community,
Yeah,
right?
possible, sure.
Okay, but like I don't. Okay, so like
But these things are not mutually exclusive,
okay,
though. You
maybe
understand that,
sure.
right?
Okay, but
So
but you
the
think
racial
race.
differences have been rigorously tested and shown scientifically. I know you love
Wait, what do
science,
you mean that?
so
Like, what do you define
so that
different?
that
Like,
like
yeah,
that's not like flat Earth conspiracy shit. That's peer
but
reviewed,
like, what do you mean by they're
like
different? Because like
non-controversial.
the skull size.
Again, you can look this up on
What,
Wikipedia,
oh, so you mean the
right?
IQs, right? So you mean like the IQs are
Yes,
different, right?
yes, IQs.
Why is that? So
Yes,
do you think that like
exactly.
so I said, why do you think that they're so much lower? Do you think that this is just something that they've inherited throughout the decades, or not decades, thousands of years of their existence, or do you think that this is more so like a recent phenomenon with the depletion of resources from certain communities?
If it's more recent, then wouldn't there be a lot of innovation in Africa? You know, like why did like they have you ever looked at the average IQ map? Like the world map? That's another thing you
Yeah.
should look at, man.
I've seen this before, yeah. And what this shows typically is there are certain areas in this world that have had their resources depleted, and places like China have made huge strides throughout the decades. But I don't know, yeah. And some of the wars and some of the genocides in Africa is also bad, but I don't think that's due to their race or their like genetical IQ dating back thousands of years. I think that's more due to like robbing them of all their of a lot of their resources for the last 200 years. Yeah, it's not that
Okay,
they're
well,
going to.
you're wrong. Okay.
Okay,
Is there
sure,
anything
sure.
else you're
I mean,
can
can
you
you
just
cite
like
anyone else besides like Charles Murray that's a genetical scientist that like agrees with you, other than just being like, well, like IQ is also genetical and or heritable, and like, do you have anyone that actually makes that claim that hasn't been like yeeted out of science, or no?
But why do you think that the
So
Wikipedia
no,
page is
no,
up
no,
and
no.
constant?
No, you can't. Can you?
I can't cite Wikipedia.
No, I'm
Is
saying
that
like
what you're going to
like
tell
a
me?
genetical scientist that.
Well, hold on. Well, let me just pull up the page and look.
Okay, sure. Not the heritability. Holy shit,
Heritability
are you
of
fucking this dense? I'm talking about that.
scholarly articles for heritability of IQ. Here's one called "The Heritability of IQ," published in 1997
So
by B. Devlin, Michael Daniels,
it's
and
not.
Catherine Roeder. Let's see
That's
the
not what I was
conclusion
asking
here.
for, right? I just want to be very clear. That's absolutely not what I was asking for. I know
Okay,
there
what do
is.
you want?
I want that there is a direct connection between the lower IQs of certain races, and that is a genetical aspect. Not that IQ can be inheritable. That the reason why like large swaths of people throughout the world have lower IQs, like that's what I'm asking for. That the claim that
So
Charles Murray made, because that has not been
you
substantiated.
don't think that the races have genetic differences?
I think
That's
that
your
they have
argument now?
no. I think that they have some genetic differences, but I don't think that IQ is necessarily one of them. Like you're laughing, but what?
I'm laughing because your like denial of probability is astounding. Like, doesn't it just seem probable that those to you
I
that
don't know. Maybe I like
if
the.
those genes
Maybe I
exist,
like
that there
the.
would be
Holy
variants
shit!
that you could like
Maybe dog.
find in
Listen,
groups of
maybe I
people?
like to like I don't know, base my politics or my ideology on things that just aren't like. Well, it might be probable because like when you look at the like I don't know. Also, I don't think that's how probability works. I don't know. I'm not that good at math, but It doesn't seem that you just cherry pick. Like, this is the same argument people make about the JQ. Is just like, don't we think it's probable that, like, the Goldman Sachs, Hollywood, like, the Jews control the world and they hate white people. Like, this is the same type of shit. Oh my God, you're like just a
What?
conspiracy. Do you believe that Jews are trying to destroy the white race?
Nah, man.
Okay, good. You'll get there one day. Don't worry. Watch some Nick Fuentes. He's a paleo conservative. Did you have
So
anything
you
else?
done now?
I'm pretty done. Yeah. Do you have anything else?
No, man. Good talk.
All right,
Like I said, go read some Wikipedia pages
I'll go do
and
that.
check out like some
Charles
some
Murray?
IQ
Gotcha.
maps and
IQ maps, right.
work on your
And I will
arguments a little
base
bit,
my
man.
complete political ideology off of that. I'll do that. If you ever want to talk again, just ping me. Peace out, my dude.
Uh-huh.